Well, good evening. Yes, I have acquired some rainbow lighting to bring you this special presentation. Going for a bit of a goddess look. Ooh, yes, she takes many forms. She does not obey the norms. Yes, she comes in little whispers and sometimes in great swarms. That was on the spot. Okay, now we're getting hot. Yeah, I liked this lighting, like the prettiness, but I'm going to present a little bit of a contradiction in terms, or just, how do I say? Um, I guess what I'm trying to convey tonight in a song, which y'all know who know, makes me extra super duper amplified nervous. Yeah, it just really rumbles my tumbles when I have to get the song in me stirred up. I get extra super squeaky like the Tin Man and just whoa, cowardly like the lion. Um, but I'm gonna present it to you. I wrote this song like right before the pandemic when I thought I knew what like ultimate pimple pinnacle of stress felt like, but I didn't. I didn't even know it was coming. This beautiful feather headdress was made by my father, and I want you to know that it was acquired in a very sacred and humane way. This animal was dead when he found it. He often works out hiking like 30, 40 miles to check wells and stuff, and this was a casualty of life and natural causes. Um, and yeah, it's sacred. It's cool. You don't have to stress. No birds were hurt in the making of this goddessiness. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to draw some attention to the fact that no matter what you believe in, even if you believe in nothing, just void, poof, which I find this very sad, just personally. You gotta hold on to something, right? But no matter what it is, if it's normie normal or in a great vast group of other believers and supporters, or if you kind of feel like you're on your own in it, whatever it is, whoever you're talking to in the middle of the night in your feverish hoping for something better. This is kind of, it's a little scandalous, isn't it? It's okay. We can ride the edge. The goddesses did, didn't they? But it's like whoever it is that you're talking to, confiding to, up there, out there, in here, wherever you find it. It's kind of like family. Like, you're gonna have issues with that being, deity, entity, force. Like, you're not always gonna get along. You're sometimes going to curse their very existence and be like, really? Really? And you're gonna get upset. We all do. But my girls, the goddesses, have been really left out of the picture for such a long time, and I find it so upsetting because if you're talking just female representation or lack thereof in the majority of modern religions, I get kind of pissed off because it's like a chicken egg situation for me where it's like, okay, Jesus is going to get all the credit, but what about my girl Mary? Like, what's up? Chicken, egg, came from her. She's the vessel. What's up with that? Like, we have a little respect? I don't know. Talk about her a little more. Father, son, yada yada. How about the feminine? Where did it go? Can we bring it back, please? And I can talk about this all night. I'm not going to, but people get very upset and very this way or that way about when I talk about feminine and masculine. I'm not talking about female, male. I'm talking about feminine intuition, the softness, the light, the knowing that the plant comes from a soil beneath, which is delicate, which is intricate, the intuitive, the mother's milk, the caring, the nurture, versus the that's been kind of guiding the universe and in charge and in power for a millennia, pretty much all the time. Just all the credit, all the grinding, all the gears, years and 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 years. It's all dude energy, all masculine, all very like, we want this land, we must fight for this land. You want my woman, you must fight for my woman. And I think it's destroying us. Just a personal opinion, you know? I think every woman ever should read the book The Red Tent. It is the most profound book about femininity that I have ever read, and you do not have to be a woman to appreciate it. Actually, I think everybody should just read it, because it's kind of about the forgotten, unmentioned, uncredited women of the Bible. It's like that actor who gets cut from the movie at the last second after they put all their work and all their experience into this role, and then they get cut. It's like they're such a blip in there. So it's about all those women, specifically focusing on, you can either say Dina or Dinah. I'm not sure which one you say. I say Dina, some people say Dinah. Potato, I don't know. But she was the only daughter of Jacob, who had 4 wives, like they all did, because who doesn't need that many wives, right? You weren't seeing any women with that many husbands, though. It's like, I could use 4 dudes doing stuff for me. I don't know, I'm just saying. But it just talks about menstruation. Yes, we need to talk about that more. It's still this insane, like, put fragrance on it, hide it away. It's just not talked about. And it's only like the life-giving force of the fucking existence of all people. No big deal. Actually, God, did I mention it already? I think I mentioned it as a blip, but I once did a vagina workshop that comes to mind, and it was really awesome. This powerful Mexican woman had us lined up by colors. She had all these beautiful colors around the room in a pattern that went in a big square, and it started with like greens and browns, and then it went into like blues and purples, and then went into reds and pinks, and it was all like the phases of your vagina, your lady parts, how they feel, how they flow, where you come to in the room. And so she had this whole routine of these cards that sort of showed you where you were in your cycle, and all of the women sat according to like where they were at. And I was the one woman in the room who had just started my period that day. So I had just started bleeding that day, and so I got to sit in this like power head of the room in this bright red velvet square, and she let me hold Alanis Morissette's vagina pillow. It was a great honor. It was gifted to her by Alanis Morissette. Alanis Morissette took one of these workshops and gifted her this glorious, velvety, silken vagina pillow that someone amazing had made for her, and she used to take it on tour, and I got to hold it, and it was a great honor. But that was a wonderful workshop that taught me a lot about the moon and forgiving yourself for feeling this way. And she passed around all these substances in the room that were like, sometimes your liquids feel like this, and it was like egg, and just getting in touch with the feels and the gooeys and the stickiness and the shit that makes us human. We shouldn't be so ashamed. It's ridiculous that we are. And I still talk to women who are like, do you have a tampon? And I'm like, you can say it out loud. It's like a huge part of living, but we're just not there yet. We haven't made it there. But the Red Tent is all about how women used to treat each other when they were menstruating, and how everyone treated women when they were menstruating, that they would go to this selected tent and they would rub each other with oils and sacredness and light incense and rub stones on each other's feet and do hot stone massages. And they would, I think I've maybe mentioned this too, but I'm digging into it more, and people would come to them to like get the wisdom of the ages and hear the dreams they had about what was going to happen with the crops or their baby or their lack of a baby, and kind of relied on them for everything. And when a woman would give birth, it would be like her and 10 of her sister folk there to massage her and sing to her and read poetry to her and rub her feet. And it's like, wait, why did that go away? Please help me out here. Now women just like put each other down and compare each other and nitpick each other in all these really scary, kind of manipulative, underhanded, sneaky, weird ways. It's like, why are we not converging in a tent and like having incredible soothsayer dreams and, beaming love upon each other and standing on warm bricks to ease the pains. Like, how did we get so cold and so, like, far from that? It doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, we left that shit in the dirt, and I don't know why, but everyone respected them. Everyone revered what their thoughts were in this time. And women were all in sync with each other, traveling and creating these caravans and creating villages and having babies together, so they were all kind of on the same cycle. Of course, and then you would get your period and be forced to marry some asshole who was married to like 7 of your sisters. Literally all of Jacob's wives, I think, were sisters except for one who was his slave. You can't make this shit up. This is way, 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 way before Me Too, ladies. So there was some shady things going down. It got gnarly out there. But yeah, so you were kind of just immediately kind of booted off to somebody and make lots of babies, and while your sister's making babies with the same guy, pretty whatever, I don't know. But yeah, it's just such an important book to read because you get such a different perspective. And the part that I was just sobbing is like they kind of start to move closer to the Holy Land, and the crops are drying up and shit's going wrong and they got to get out of there, and kind of the patriarchy's really taken over, and Jacob goes in and smashes all of their goddess talismans, or I guess taliswomans, I don't know, we still say talisman, taliswoman, all of their statues, sacred objects that have anything to do with the goddess, just smashed, just thrown in the fire, just fuck you, that's not what we believe anymore, and you know the rest, here we are. But if you want to be informed, if you want to like really get real about it, these are not alternate facts. These are facts. The goddess worship was there first. The like power of the feminine, the appreciation of the feminine, it got there first. So it upsets me that it's just like a little blip, little side note. Oh, you're weird. You're a witch on Instagram or something. Like, no. No. Not that sorry, I mean, I'm sure I would probably get along with many of you lovely Instagram witches. I just get a little bit upset that that's now, like, trendy. It's a trendy thing used to sell, like, vagina eggs or whatever. I don't know. It's alright, I guess, that it's getting more attention, but I still feel like it's also a very fringe thing that is not discussed, and I don't like that. Probably some of my favorite goddesses, and that's the cool thing, is, like, when you get into goddess worship, you got so many to choose from. There's so many ladies that can help you out, you know? I really like Talia, I don't know, I'm sure there's many ways to say these, but she's like the goddess of theater and the flourish. What a great word, right? The goddess of the flourish. Like, heck yeah. And of music and musery. She's a muse, one of many. I love Kuan Yin, Kuan Li Lin. There's a lot of ways to say Kuan Yin, but love her. She's all about that compassion, comfort. Really need her right now. Eris is a good one. She's the goddess of chaos. And sometimes people hear that right off the bat and they think like, oh, she's making the chaos, but she's trying to help with the chaos. She holds a lot of chaos in her being, naturally, because that's like her day job. That's what she's dealing with. But it's when you are feeling like the chaos is taking you over, you're like, my girl Eris, help me out. I'm drowning in this shit. And she's supposed to kind of like be able to deal. Like she's a chick who's been through a lot, basically. So yeah, I think it's really something we need to include in the conversation again. How about the ladies? Like, I don't know, I just feel like when you have really powerful females like Beyonce, they still kind of gravitate to the old Father, Son, Holy Spirit ideology, and I'm like, but you're a powerful woman, give it to the women, get on the loudspeaker and be like, I endorse the goddesses, because they are important as well. I'm not trying to discount the male, we gotta have balance, the balance is required. But I don't know. It just seems unfair. Like, she's just not invited to the lunch table. The goddesses are just forced to sit at the loser table, which I've had to sit at before. And it's not fair and it's not warranted. And it's like, she has so much to say. They have so much to say, so much to contribute. And I remember I'm also stalling because remember I'm going to sing for you. Oh, I'm nervous. But I dated a friend briefly whose parents were both pastors and actually had like the loveliest, they would call them soul feasts, and we would have these gatherings at their house, and it was like wonderful. I mean, truly, like, I felt heard and seen on so many levels, and people could just share what was going on with them and feel supported, and it was really great. And they knew kind of like what my bag was, what my jam was. But when I was dating their son, I did a little Bible study with his mother. Just as a kind of like initiation or to show like, hey, I respect this too, which I do. But man, I got a little upset like right out the gate because she gave me these passages to read. And it was all about the particular section which I read, which I have read the whole thing front to back. I played a character who was a Seventh-day Adventist, and I'm very method. And so I went to some very, very scary churches for that research. I will just say it. That was not a welcoming experience. That was when I went to a Baptist service because I couldn't find a Seventh-day Adventist one and seemed kind of close. And I happened to sit next to the preacher's wife, and she literally turned to me at the end and went, "Well, Teal, you survived." I am not making this up. It was super scary, and I was dressed like conservative and trying to like blend in, but I don't think I can. I don't think that's possible for me. But so, when I did this Bible study, my mom told me not to itch my nose on camera, and so naturally, of course, that's a witchy thing right there. My nose itches so badly right now. It really itches. Anyway, that's just how it goes. As soon as you're aware of something, right? But so, this section that I read was basically all about Jesus doing some very magical things. He made a empty basket be full of fishes and was like, ta-da, voila! And, the walking on water happened, and the healing wounds by just, no more wounds. And so I read this whole section, and then I read it again. And then, you know what? I read it again. And I couldn't help myself. I said, I'm sorry. I don't want to disrespect you, but the thing that keeps coming to me the loudest in reading this is that if by some strange miracle Jesus had happened to be a lady, and it was like, oh, it's the daughter of God. I mean, it could have happened. We don't know. It could have happened. But if that would have happened, and Jesus was a gal, I feel like they wouldn't have had the opportunity to work all of those miracles because they would just be lit on fire immediately. They would have done one of those magical things and people would have been like, no, she's got to go. And I don't feel like that's fair. And I mean, I know it ended really badly. And I have respect. Like I said about the news thing, people think I'm just all unicorns and I don't inform myself. I'm not just saying this stuff because I'm just like picking it out of the ether. I've done my research. My parents raised me to be like, find your own path. Believe what you feel. Find it out there. So I have dabbled. I have dabbled in many of the books, many of the teachings, many of the things. But it just upset me. I don't know. I was like, okay, so Jesus is allowed to be magic, but would a woman have been allowed to be magic? I don't think so. I really don't. Anyway, because they had already smashed all those statues and they were like, no boobs in our worship. No way. I don't like that. All inclusive here, people. I mean, yeah, we could talk about theology, I guess, for a while, because I've always been very scared of what's out there or what isn't or what. And I remember my dad teaching me about the universe expanding, like the ever expanding, we never know when it's going to stop universe. And I was like 7 and I would just sob and not be able to sleep at night and be like, Dad, what if I don't pick a team? Like, what if I don't know what team to pick? Where am I going to go? Am I just going to be lost? And I was so afraid. And my dad would comfort me and say, you know what, baby? I think that whatever you believe deeply in your soul and with a pure heart, that's what will happen. So I like that. I like that. And when I kind of get into little tiffs or little back and forths with my friends who are deeply religious, and they're trying to be like, no, you have to pick this guy, pick this team, pick this side. I don't know. I always say, there's like, I don't know, I forget the number, like 33 million universes or a galaxy, 33 million galaxies. I watched the Stephen Hawking special. I forget the number, but it's a whole bunch of galaxies just that we can see, just that we know of. And I'm like, really? With all that expanse of vastness and mysticism and wonder, why isn't there room for everybody? Why does it have to be like the Super Bowl and we all just have to pound into each other to find like the one team, the one thing? It's like, everything is too big for that. It's just too big. So anyway, yeah, those are my feelings. That's my heart. And what it comes down to, because I can tell you right now, I am friends with Mormons, Christians, Baptists, atheists, Buddhists, Taoists, other freaky witches who don't really pick a team, Jewish people, lots of Jewish people. I even have a couple Scientology friends. Really hard for me to have straight-faced conversations with them, but it's like, look, I'm not here to say anybody's right or wrong. I just think that it would be really nice if the goddesses could come up to bat every once in a while and didn't have to just get so left out. But kind of my point was, even the feminine side, even the feminine mysticism, I still get mad at her. And I'm still like, girl, why? Girl, what? Come on. And I get hurt and I get wounded. And it's kind of like I think about my relationship with Los Angeles. Like, I always talk about LA, like, the most addictive, abusive relationship I've ever been in. And I see LA as a female in my mind for some reason. Like, she's feminine. And I would just always come crawling back. Always crawling back. And I have great love for her in my heart. But then there was always this, like, betrayal. And this, like, why would you do that to me? Why would you do me dirty like that? So, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of the spiritual journey that I feel as well, where I feel like I'm really reverent and I'm there for, sound like the Bachelorette. I'm here for the right reasons. Why won't you give me your rose? But anyway, I put this beautiful goddess behind me, and she is quite breathtaking. But it's just about how she can really be so beautiful one moment and then just turn and go so dark and scare you so much. And, power is like that. If anybody's in control, they're certainly having some mood swings, it seems. If anybody or multiple anybodies are like pulling the strings, it seems like maybe they're having just as hard of a time as we are. I don't really know. But yeah, Gizmo can't help himself. Has to be in. He's like, is this about me? It doesn't seem like it is, so I'm gonna go ahead and barge in here, buddy. I need to be able to see my work here. Love you. Okay, so I'm really nervous, and I'm going to sing my piece for you. And I wrote it just a little while ago, right before a pandemic hit. Pretty scary. So yeah, it kind of fits now more than before. But I'm all up in my nerves. Okay. It's called Hear Me Out, Goddess. Well, I crumpled up my progress and I amplified my regrets. And I'm betting on the bad guy. Wanna get off this ride. I'm tripping on these new waves and I haven't got a goddamn thing that I can still say. So I guess I better pray to the goddess. She's so flawless, but she's fucked up and she's lawless. She knows I like surprises, and suddenly the water rises. Well, that's not what I had in mind, so bitch, hit me up some other time. I'm waiting on a new deity, waiting on a new me to be. You'll see, she's coming along, real soon, under a blood moon. She'll bring everything that you need, as long as you beg, pretty please, pretty please, pretty please, pretty please, hear me out. She might even make you shout it and question everything till you doubt it. She's gonna tangle and reroute it until you're willing to make a sacrifice just to feel something halfway nice. And she's so gorgeous, but her heart is ice. I've felt it. Her wrath volcanic when you erupt it. And you'll plead with her, but that's tough shit. So don't just sit there, you gotta prepare. Best not come at her with that blank stare. You gotta wear armor forged of pure steel. Think you can wing it, baby? Please get real. 'Cause she'll peel you like a fruit. If you don't get wise, be astute. She wears feathered gowns and combat boots. You doubt I speak the truth? Well, here's the boot prints on my soul for proof. Well, that could have gone better. Gizmo was being a bit of a distraction. I feel pretty good about it. It wasn't like, I've done it in the shower a few times where I was like, bitch, I stand up for myself. But there was one part that was supposed to rhyme, that's supposed to be like, she's so gorgeous, but her heart is ice. I've touched it. Her wrath volcanic when you erupted. So I said felt instead of touch, so it didn't rhyme with erupt. You know what I'm saying? But I do like it. I like this song. Crumpled up my progress and I've amplified my regrets. I'm betting on the bad guy. I wanna get off this ride. I'm tripping on these new waves and I haven't got a goddamn thing that I can still say. So I guess I better pray to the goddess, 'cause she's so flawless. She's fucked up and she's lawless. She knows I like surprises, and suddenly the water rises. Well, that's not what I had in mind, so bitch, hit me up some other time. Maybe I just have to sing the whole song like that. I don't know. I'll play with it. It's a ditty. I wrote it. It's a thing. I like it. I like where it goes, how it flows, how nobody knows who's up there and in control, but my guess is it isn't just one person, or being. I don't think of them as being a person, but think of all that's going on here. Think of the load we got. Wouldn't it be nice if we had a few extra hands on deck? Wouldn't it be nice if we could just, I don't know, accept each other and be like, yeah, your God wants to pitch in? Cool. As long as it's like towards the lightening of this horrible, terrible load that we've created somehow out of our human karma, human suffering, human desire and greed. I don't know. I just think it would be really nice if we had like a team looking out, and we could just accept that Everyone calls out to someone a little different at night. And I've always kind of said, like, even if you're in the same exact religion and you go to the same church, I bet you your exact perfect image of what God is different to you than the person sitting next to you at your same church. Actually, I'm glad I thought of that little tangent because I thought it was absolutely hilarious. There was some sort of huge university study done. Like I said, they're always doing some study on us that we don't even know about. They did a study where they asked people to describe God to like a criminal sketch artist, one of those people who can just take a few descriptions and create like a perfect face. And so they did this composite of like everybody everywhere, and all these universities across, I think, the world, and just simple sat down with people, tell me what God looks like to you. And it was then like they made kind of like a top 10 of like, here's kind of sort of what y'all have in mind. And the one that like won, or the one that was like the most commonly described being that kind of got the top prize of like, this is what most of you think God looks like, looked exactly like Elon Musk. It freaked me out. And it was like right when he had just done his like smoking a huge blunt thing and everyone was making memes about it. Even I made one. I made a really funny one with clowns around the smoke. But it was like right at that time. Like that had just broke out. I think he smoked with Joe Rogan or something, but he was just hitting that big blunt and everybody was like, to me, God looks a little something like Elon Musk. I was like, what? I wish I had a printout of it right now to show as proof because it was absolutely hysterical composite sketch of number one most popular version of God. I just thought it was bitchin', so funny. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate you all so much. That's just my heart and my feelings. I got room for your heart and your feelings. I really do. I just think like, I don't know, put cheerleaders in some comfier clothes and start like letting women have tradition again where we rub each other's feet with oil and shit and like celebrate each other and uplift each other, and let's get our girls back in the game. Let's get our girls in the saddle. Some femininity. Yeah, I know gender is real bendy lately and I like that. I like that it's bendy. But it should be more. It should be more inclusive everything. Everybody pitch in. We need it. We need as many like gods, deities, ascended beings, just good beings. We need as many as we can get to lift this thing back up the mountain. Like when I think of theology and struggle and philosophy, I always think of this anthill I watched for like 4 hours in my backyard once. For some reason, these 2 ants were being punished. Everybody else was doing really easy work, lifting like little tiny crumbs, and these 2 ant bros were lifting an entire praying mantis carcass up and down this little hill, and they kept almost getting there, and the carcass would fall. And it was like, I watched that for hours, and to me it just gave me this very accurate kind of like, yeah, that's kind of how it be, like in the soul, in the trying to get there, trying to get better, more love, please. It's not easy. It's like a million times your actual size and weight, and it's just like, pick that up, okay. But I hope you liked it. There's my song. Ta-da. This is day 39. Bless my mind. Isn't that fine? How divine. 39? Who? Where does the time unwind? I'm really liking this poet thing. The more I do it, the more I groove upon it. And put that bee in your bonnet. You see where I'm going. Okay, I'll let you go. Thank you for being with me, and we'll do some more tomorrow for day 40. Wow. Crazy. Have beautiful dreams. Sing about things. Don't just do it in the shower. Go out. Sing. Raise your voices. Why not? Love.